Have you ever looked at your life and thought, I should be happy, so why do I feel so restless? In this episode, we're going to talk about what's really happening in midlife and why this might not be a crisis at all. If you're tired of feeling stuck in life and doubting yourself and want simple steps to stop overthinking, gain clarity, and start living your dream, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Sarah Tyke, a midlife mom, chronic overthinker, and your dream activator. I learned the secret of how to overcome self-doubt and stop overthinking. Take small, practical steps to create the life you dream of. If you're ready to see the possibilities, transform your mindset, and take the first step forward, grab a pen and a journal and meet me in the Dream Lab. Hello, and welcome to Reinventing Life After 40. I'm your host, Sarah Tyke, and today we are going to talk about the dreaded midlife crisis. But is it really a crisis, or is it just a transformation, an opportunity? For me, this came about when I was maybe in my late 30s, somewhere, 35-ish, 38 maybe. I was totally dissatisfied with my job, life, everything. I just was not happy, very restless, like I needed something else. What else is there? What else can I do? And someone near and dear to me kind of lightheartedly, glibly told me, I think the term for that is a midlife crisis. And at first I was kind of like, there's no way. But it was kind of comforting because at least there's a name for it. So I was like, oh, is that what that is? So other people, have gone through it. We've put a name to it. But I was only 35. I'm like, what the heck is happening here? So that was kind of depressing because if I'm going through that crisis now at 35, like it's always portrayed as kind of almost at the end of the road. Like once you have that midlife crisis, you start going nuts, you start going crazy, and everything kind of goes downhill and falls apart. And I was only 35. So I don't know if it's really a crisis or was I just having a bad day, a bad week at work where it just seemed like everything was falling apart. Because even now I find myself in that same kind of situation where I just feel like there's got to be something else. There's got to be something more. There's this internal tension between being grateful for what I do have, for my steady job that's a good paycheck, and this job provides me with everything that I need. It gives me, a house. It gives me food on the table. So I am grateful for that. But I also feel like I want more fulfillment. So my job, like I said, takes care of all these physical needs, but there's no like spiritual, mental, or emotional fulfillment. It is really at this point, it is just a paycheck. And so I feel like I should be content, but I can't deny the fact that I'm not. So I've kind of come to realize that there's something else going on, that there's a shift happening. And it's not that I'm falling apart, it's just that I'm changing. Because as we age, as we get older, things change, life changes. And we're told in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 16 through 17, therefore we do not lose heart. Even though our outward man is perishing, yet the inward man is being renewed day by day. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. So what that's telling us is that even though our outward selves, or maybe our outward circumstances, all that is perishing, it's falling away, it's changing, but our inner selves are being renewed day by day. So whatever we're going through now is a light affliction. It may seem bad, but really in the grand scheme of things, it's but for a moment. And it's actually helping us to grow more and is giving us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. So we just kind of have to get through this time of change, what feels terrible, but really it's just for a moment, and the reward of getting through that is this eternal weight of glory. So, point one, what people call a midlife crisis is often just a period of awakening. You've gained a lot of life experience at this point if you're in your 40s, and you're starting or you have clarity about what really matters now. It's probably at this point in your life, it might not just be a paycheck anymore. So you start questioning the choices that you made earlier in life. Obviously, you can't go back and change them. So often that leads to kind of feeling regretful. Like, oh gosh, I made the wrong choices. What did I do? I can't change because I'm too old, because it's, if only I could go back. And well, you can't. So just recognize that, okay, so now you've learned from it. You've learned that now different things matter. Things have changed. So it's helpful at this point to reframe your thinking from feeling like something is wrong to something is changing. Point two, this restlessness is a signal. It's not a problem. It's just pointing you toward growth, alignment, or that something is missing. So it's just like a data point that you have. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing that needs to, like, quote unquote, be fixed. It's just a data point. You're like, oh, okay, something's changing now. Something needs to change. I need to find something else. It doesn't mean, again, quitting your job or doing some big, dramatic, drastic thing. For me, I feel like I've outgrown my job. It just doesn't fit anymore. And, I have a toddler, and when he outgrows his shoes, I don't worry about it. I don't get upset or think that something's wrong with them. Like, oh my gosh, these shoes don't fit. We just bought them. I mean, it is kind of weird that we just buy them like seems like every few months. But he's just growing, that's all. So I just buy new shoes and move on. So similarly with my job, yeah, I've just outgrown it. That's all. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to freak out about. I can't just find a new job, obviously, but we're going to find other ways. That's what this podcast is about. We're going to find other ways to change your life and to bring in the joy, the peace that will lead you to your dream life. So these feelings of restlessness, it really just means that you're outgrowing perhaps your current circumstances. So instead of pushing it away, get curious about it, investigate it. Think about, why do I feel like this? What is causing this restlessness? Point number three, you don't have to blow up your life to respond to this feeling. So making huge, big, drastic changes usually creates more fear and resistance, especially if you have a family and you have, a spouse who maybe doesn't understand what you're going through, and, quitting your job is going to potentially cause more tension and more stress in that relationship. So don't do that. Don't add more stress. You don't need to do that. We're going to do these small intentional steps. So we've, back in episode 1, we started talking about this, that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So let's start taking that single step. That's all you really need. And then you can build momentum. You can take the next step and the next step, and eventually work your way toward, kind of creating your dream life, or at least, bringing in more of the joy and the peace, feeling more aligned and fulfilled, even if you do have to kind of stick with your daily, everyday grind. So for your homework for this week, we're going to kind of use this 10-minute action rule that we discussed last time. I'm going to call this your 10-minute action window. It's going to be a time that you're taking to intentionally work on your dream. So ideally every day you would do this. You'd take 10 minutes every day to kind of work on your dream life. But if you can at least do it once per week, that would be great. So this week we're going to do a simple life check-in. So kind of ask yourself, what feels good in your life right now? What feels off or unfulfilling? And what am I quietly wanting more of? So just write these answers down. It's important to, I think, write everything down. So you can always go back and look at it and kind of remember, especially the things when you're writing down what you want, because you are starting to create that vision, the life that you are wanting, and that kind of becomes your roadmap. It sets that intention, so you know what you're working toward. So what feels good right now in your life? What feels off or unfulfilling? And what do you want more of? And again, be completely honest with yourself. Don't write down what you think you should say. Don't write down, well, this is the correct answer. Write down truly what is in your heart, because no one else has to see this. It's just you. So be completely honest about this. And just take 10 minutes to think about, what you're feeling right now in your situation. And, we're not going to try to fix anything right now. We're not going to try to come up with, detailed plans and roadmaps and all that. We're just going to check in and see where you're at with what feels good, what feels off, and what do you want more of. So another thing to kind of ask yourself throughout the week here is a reflection question is, what is my restlessness trying to tell me? So take a minute to ask that restless you, what do you want? And then just listen to what comes back. And maybe journal the answer during that 10-minute window. So just kind of imagine sitting down with yourself that's feeling restless and unfulfilled and just ask them, what do you want? And then just listen and be honest about what that answer is. If it surprises you, great, write it down. That's always an enlightening step when you're kind of like, oh, I didn't realize that that's what I wanted. So a quick recap here. First, this is not a crisis. It's a transition. Second, your feelings are valid and meaningful. Third, you don't need drastic change, just awareness and small intentional steps. I know this was a bit of a shorter episode, but I don't think we need to really hammer home any of these points. I think you guys got it. I would prefer that you take the rest of the time that we would normally spend in a longer episode and do that 10-minute action window now where you really think about what is going on in your life and where you're at, and ask yourself, why are you restless? And what do you want? What would make that restlessness better? What is it that you truly are looking for? What is making you feel unfulfilled, feel like you've outgrown your situation? So take time, journal all that, and come back here next week for another episode. If you are liking this podcast, please follow it, like it, subscribe it, leave me comments or reviews wherever you can, please. Thank you. The reviews and comments will help me know if this is actually helping you, because that's what I'm here for. So if you know of anybody who might kind of be feeling this midlife crisis pressure, maybe share this episode with them. And thank you guys for listening, and we will see you back here next week for another episode. Thanks, guys. Bye. Hi, friend. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with a friend who may want to get inspired to start living their dream? Also, please leave a review wherever you're listening. It lights me up to know that this podcast is helping you. Take a step forward today. It doesn't have to be big, but it does have to be done. I'll meet you back here next week for another episode. Bye.